Hello students, welcome to this new video that will teach you on how to demonstrate digital literacy in using the Microsoft Excel application. And I want to take you through a very short brief and a summary of what you are going to be doing in this video. So to start with, there are some definitions that you need to understand here. And the first definition is what a spreadsheet is. So a spreadsheet is a digital grid of rows and columns that is used for organizing, analyzing, and storing data. It is commonly used when you're doing calculations, data entry, financial analysis, and data visualization. You get to notice that almost every business, every organization that is adopting technology in their daily activities, it is a must that they store some data. So most of them are using spreadsheets to manage this data and information. So some of the uses of spreadsheets include budgeting, forecasting, that's doing predictions. We also have data analysis, inventory management, and also maintaining records. When you're talking about spreadsheets, a good example of a spreadsheet application is Excel. And as you know, when you're opening Excel, you have to click on the start button and then you just type Excel, and you'll be able to get it at this section. So you click on it, it is going to open. And once the application opens, you can just click on blank workbook. And once you click on blank workbook, you're going to see these appearance. You can see that this application is composed of rows and columns, and all the columns are actually given these column headers, A, B, C, D, E, and so on. When you look at the rows are here, and they are also given row headers, which are in numerical values. So one thing you need to understand, one of these small boxes here is known as a cell. So for example, this is a cell, and each cell is usually given a name based on number 1, the column where it is located, and number 2, the row where it is found. So a cell is an intersection between a row and a column. So looking at this cell where I've written the text cell, it is an intersection between column C and row number 3. So the name of the cell is C3. If you look at even at this top section here, you're able to see the name box that indicates the name of the cell. So the cell that we are currently selected is cell C3. The next thing that you need to understand, this interface has different other parts. We have this top part at this section. This is known as the quick access toolbar. So it can be customized to add more icons or even to remove some icons that you may not necessarily want to be there. So if I click on this icon, I'm able to select any icon that I want to be added. For example, if I click on spelling, you can see that the icon has been added at this section. If I click on this again and then I also click open, you can see the icons are going to be added at this section. But at the same time, you can also remove some of the icons. If I want to remove the icons that I've just added, I'll just go back to this customize quick access toolbar option. Then I just uncheck the spelling. You can see it has already been removed. If I also go back to this, then I uncheck open, it is also removed from that quick access toolbar section. The other part that you also need to understand is this part at the top here. This is known as the title bar. The title bar gives the name of the currently opened file, and also the application. So for example, you can see that the file that you have currently opened is called book 2, which is an Excel document. So if I try to save it by clicking on file, then I go to save as, and then I browse the location where I want to save it. Let's say I want to save it on my desktop, and then I select a folder called there's a folder on my desktop that is called diglit videos, so this one. So if I click on this, then I click open, and then I give it a specific name. Let's say for example I call it introduction, then I click save. You notice that the name at the top here changes. So that's the title bar. We also have the ribbon, and the ribbon is this horizontal bar here that has a group of tabs, and you're able to see we have the first one, that is file, we have home, insert, page layout, all the way to where we have help at this section. Each of these tabs has got a group of subdivisions that are actually called groups, and they are being divided here using these vertical dividers. They are here. So each of the groups has their name indicated at the bottom part. So the first group in the home tab is this one, clipboard. We have font, alignment, number, styles, cells, editing, and we also have add-ins. So these are the different groups in that tab. So if you click on the insert tab, you're also going to find other groups in the same tab. They are here. The groups vary from tab to tab. So now proceeding to these section, we also need to know how to define the term worksheet. So a worksheet is a single page within an Excel spreadsheet that contains cells organized in rows and columns. Multiple worksheets can be found within a workbook. What we are saying is multiple worksheets form what is known as a workbook. So what I have at this section in this document, this is a worksheet. This one, it's only one sheet. As you can even see, it's sheet 1 here. But the moment I just click on this icon here to add a new sheet, now if I click, you can see I have 3 sheets at this section. So whatever I have at this section is now a workbook. And a workbook, as you can see from our definitions, a workbook is an Excel file that contains one or more worksheets. It is the complete document that you save and open in Excel. A workbook may have very many worksheets. So workbooks are used to keep all related worksheets together, such as a year's worth of financial statements, project management plans, or even any data analysis reports for a given organization. The next term that we need to understand is actually formulas, and we also have functions. So a formula is an expression that is entered into a cell in Excel that will be able to perform calculations or operations on data. In most cases, formulas are user defined. It is the user who creates this expression. And one thing you need to understand is that in Excel, formulas will start with an equal sign. And you can see the example that we have is equals to A1 plus B1, which will be able to add the values in cells A1 and cell B1. The reason as to why we don't reference to the specific values in the cells is since we want to make it easier when we are out of filling this data downwards. So if we reference to those values in the specific cells, we'll have a difficulty because the answer will only be the same across all the cells. So a formula is an expression that is entered into a cell in Excel that will be able to perform calculations or operations on data. And I've said that in most cases it is user defined. Next, we have functions. A function is a predefined formula in Excel that simplifies complex calculations by using a specific syntax. And these functions are already inbuilt in the spreadsheet applications. So the moment we open this spreadsheet, and then I go to the formulas tab at this section, you're able to see we have these functions at this section. So if I click on insert function, you can see I can select any function that I want to insert at this section. They are also here. If you click on auto sum, you can see the same functions, and they can also be checked by clicking on more functions, which will take you to the same interface that we had. So functions are predefined formulas in Excel that will simplify complex calculations by using specific syntax. An example is what we have here, is equals to sum, open brackets, A1 full colon A10, which will add all the values that are there in cells A1 all the way to A10. Next, some of the uses of spreadsheets. One of them is in financial analysis. Spreadsheets can be used to track income, expenses, and also budgeting, because they have inbuilt calculative functionalities that can easily give you the results when you try to perform any form of calculations. We also have data management, storing and organizing large data sets. We also have forecasting, that is predicting future trends based on the historical data. We also have inventory management, that is simply monitoring stock levels, orders, and also the supply chain data. And finally, the example that I have of the uses of spreadsheets is in project management, where the spreadsheet applications are used to plan tasks, timelines, and also allocate resources to the activities that are being conducted in any running project. Advantages of using spreadsheets. We have one, that is automation. It is going to be able to automate repetitive calculations using formulas and functions. Sometimes we use macros to do the same automation. Secondly, it gives data visualization. Data visualization entails creating charts and graphs that will give a better understanding of data to the people who are using this data. A good example, we may have a spreadsheet document that is showing the rates of expenses and income that a company is generating. So if we are able to express the expenses and the revenue as a bar chart, it will be easier for these top management of the organization to look at the data that is represented using the charts and understand if the business is making losses or profits. Number 3, flexibility. It is easy to modify and adjust the data entries, formulas, and the formats. We have the formulas also changing automatically to reflect the new data that has been fed. We have data analysis and collaboration. So we may also use various tools such as pivot tables and also conditional formatting for analysis. And finally, these workbooks can be shared with other people for collaborative work A good example, if you're using the Google workspace, we have Google Sheets that can be shared, and people can collaboratively modify data in these cells that will be reflected to each and every person that is in the collaborative environment. Some Excel features that you also need to understand before we dive into an example. One of them is merge and centering. So this feature simply combines multiple selected cells into one larger cell and centers the text within it. A good example, if I go back to Excel at this section, you're able to see that my sheet has cell A1, B1, C1. All of these, they are individual cells, but I may want to merge them and write, let's say, a certain title. For example, I'll be forced to select the cells. Let's say I click on A1, then I drag it all the way to where we have G1 here, and then I'll click on the home tab, then go to merge and center. It is here, so I'll click on merge and center. Once I click on it, you are able to see that these cells have been combined. So I'm able to type, let's say for example, NIBS Technical College. As simple as that. That is how you combine cells. That is merging and centering. If I also click on this one, I select them up to this section, then I go back to merge and center and I click on this. You can see they have also been combined, and I can also type digital literacy class. As simple as that. The other concept that you need to understand is this one, wrap text. Wrap text allows text to be displayed on multiple lines within a single cell, adjusting the cell height automatically. It is very useful when the content in a cell is too long to fit within the cell width, and wrapping text in a cell with a long description is done to ensure that all the text is visible to the user. So if I click on if I go back to this Excel file and then I try to write here student name, you notice that the text student name is spilling and covering multiple cells, but I may want it to only cover the single cell that is here, that is A3. So I can simply select the cell, and after I select the cell, I'll go to wrap text, which is here, and when I click on wrap text, you can see the text is occupying several lines but within the same cell. Excel features. How do you save Excel files? Simply, you're supposed to click on the file tab, then you go to save as. You're expected to choose the location, enter a file name, and also choose the file format, and after doing all that, you just click save. I'll be able to demonstrate that practically. So now let us dive into this sample Excel spreadsheet formatting and data visualization exercise for us to be able to do a few calculations. So I've already opened my Excel file, which is now here. This is the file that we have, and we are expected to do these calculations on. So you're provided with an Excel worksheet containing employee salary data. Follow the steps below to format the worksheet and perform necessary calculations. So we are told, part A, insert a new row above row 1 and do the following. So we are told to insert a new row above row 1. So you can see this is row 1. So if I'm told to insert a new row above row 1, I'm supposed to click on this section to select the entire row. Then I'm able to go to the cells group in the home tab, and then I'm able to select insert sheet rows. If I click on this, a new row has been added just above the first row which was existing in the document. Then the next thing I'm told to merge and center cells A1 to J1. So I'll go back to the document, I'll click on A1 and drag across all the way to J1 to select the cells. After doing that, I'll just click on merge and center. So I click on merge and center here, and you can see all the cells have been combined. Next, I'm told to type the text Greenleaks Technologies payroll calculations in the merged cells. Let's type Greenleaks Technologies payroll calculations. As simple as that. After typing this, looking at the question, we've already answered up to part A, second question. Then you're told to change the font style of the texts to Century Gothic, making it bold and setting the size to 16. So I'll simply go back to the file, then I click on it to select the cell. I'm able to change the font style here. So I'll just scroll downwards all the way to where we have Century Gothic. I'll select Century Gothic, which is here. I'm also requested to make it bold, so I click on bolding, and finally I'm told to make the size 16. So I'll just go back to this section and increase the size to be 16. As simple as that. As simple as that. Part B. Insert another new row above row 1 and do the following. So the first thing we are going to do is to insert that new row above now our new row 1. So I'll just do the same. I click on this, then I go to insert and then select insert sheet rows. That new row has been added just above our initial row 1. We're told to insert the company logo into this row, increasing the row height to ensure the logo fits properly. So what I'll be expected to do is simply I can actually start by increasing the height by dragging at this section between the border of row 1 and 2. So I just click on any section on row 1, then I go to insert, select picture, then I click on this device. After clicking on this device, the logo I want to insert is located on the desktop, so I'll just click on desktop here, and then I click on logo. It is here. Then I click insert. You can see the logo has been inserted in the document, but it is very, very large, so I have to reduce its size, resize that image, resize the logo until the logo is able to fit within the space. So you can continue resizing to the size that you want to have. So for my case, I've resized it. I can also merge these cells for it to be a single cell, as simple as that. And next, using the employee salary data, perform all the necessary calculations. All these calculations need to be done So we just go back to the Excel document. For this exercise, we're going to be calculating using formulas. I'll be doing another video to demonstrate the usage of functions to achieve the same objectives. So for this case, we are given the employees' names in column A. We have their basic salaries here. So we are expected to perform all of these calculations, fill these cells with data. So the first calculation that I want us to do is finding the housing levy. And the housing levy is simply 1.5% of the basic salary. So we just click on this, then we write this is equals to, we simply click on the cell that has the salary, and the cell name will automatically be written. So is equals to B4 multiplied, for multiplication we use the asterisk. So we multiply this by 1.5%. Don't forget to add the percentage sign, as it will give you wrong figures. So you press the enter key, and after pressing the enter key, you notice that you've already calculated the housing levy for Jane Kamal. So what you just need to do is to autofill these downwards, and for you to autofill downwards, you're expected to point at the bottom right corner of the cell that has your answer until the cursor changes to this icon. Then you click, and then without releasing the mouse button, you drag downwards up to where we have the last employee. Then you release the mouse button. As simple as that. The next thing that we are expected to calculate is the income tax, which is simply 8% of the basic salary. So we still do the same thing. Click on this cell, and then we write is equals to, click on the cell that has the basic salary, then we multiply this by 8%. Once again, don't forget to add the percentage sign. Then you press the enter key and autofill downwards. Once again, I've shown you how to autofill, so you get these values there. Next, we are expected to calculate the NHIF value. So this is how we calculate it. Is equals to, click on the cell that has the basic salary multiplied by 2.5%. Then you press the enter key. We already have our value here, so we simply autofill this downwards again, and we have our values populated. Now for us to calculate the total deductions, the total deductions are these ones. We only have 3 deductions as per this sheet. So for us to get the deductions, we are going to use a formula to calculate the sum of those 3. So simply you just write is equals to, you click on the first deduction for the first employee plus the second deduction plus the third deduction. Then you press the enter key. You've gotten the total deductions for these first employee. So the same way we are going to autofill this downwards. You just click on this icon, drag downwards, you're going to get all the values. Next, we are expected to find the net salary. So for us to find the net salary, we just click on this cell. After clicking on this cell, we just write is equals to, we're going to get the basic salary minus the total deductions that were made. So it's going to be is equals to B4 minus F4. So you press the enter key, we have the net salary then you just autofill it downwards. Next question, we are expected to increase the salary by 15%. So initially the basic salary was 100%. So if we are increasing it by 15%, it means that the new salary is going to be 115%. So for us to find the new salary, we just have to click on this section, then we write is equals to, click on this cell, then we multiply it by 115%. Press the enter key. You can see this person will now be earning 69,000 as compared to the earlier 60,000. So we also autofill downwards. Now looking at what we have at this section, assuming that we want to round off these values correct to 0 decimal places, we're just going to click on this section and then we write is equals to, for this case you're going to use a function, is equals to round, open brackets, we click on the increased salary, then we have a comma, then 0, and you can even see the syntax below. It says is equals to round, open brackets, we have the number, comma, the number of digits we want to round these to. So our function will be is equals to round, open brackets, H4, which is the increased salary, comma, 0. 0 is the number of decimal places that we want to round that to. But in case we want to round it correct to 2 decimal places, as this question is stating, we are going to change the value here, instead of being 0 to be 2, and then we close. And after doing that, you press the enter key, and then we autofill downwards. You can actually see it has been sorted, though this value is exactly the value that was here. So we can change it to be 0 and look at the change. So you press the enter key, then autofill, then we autofill downwards. You can actually see now everything is a whole number. Then for us to calculate the totals at this section, you just click on this, is equals to, you can click on this value plus this other one plus this other one plus, we add all of them and then we press the enter key. We are going to get the totals here. So we can autofill this towards the right this way up to this section. If you want to get the highest values and the lowest values, simply you can click on this, then you go to formulas and then go to autosum, and then for highest we use max. So you just click on this and it's going to write for you the formula that is equals to max, open brackets, B4 full colon to B12. But since we don't want to include the totals there, since it's going to be automatically the highest value, we change B12 to B11. Then you press the enter key. You notice that it has given us the highest value in this column. Then we can autofill towards the right to get all of them. If we need the lowest values, we can simply use the min function. So we just write is equals to min, open brackets, then we can click on this cell and drag it downwards. It's going to write the range for us, then you close, press the enter key, we've gotten the value. So we can simply autofill this towards the right. As simple as that. Then we have a question here that is expecting us to use the if function to populate the sheet with some remarks. You're able to see that you're told we use an if function to display high if the net salary is greater than 50,000, otherwise display low. So if we go to the Excel sheet, the if function that you're going to use is of this form. So you're going to write is equals to if we can reference to any of the salaries. So for this case, let us reference to this basic salary. So you're going to have is equals to if, open brackets, we click on this cell that has the initial basic salary. Is this salary greater than 50,000? Then we have a comma, double quotes, then inside the quotes we write high, and then close the quotes, else, which will be represented by a comma, double quotes, we have low, then close the double quotes, and then we close our bracket. That is how the function will look like. Then you just press the enter key. You can see this person has 60,000. It is indicating that it is high. So if we autofill this downwards up to this section, you can see we have several lows and several highs. Next question, insert a 2D bar chart that represents the basic salary and the increased salary data. So simply we are going to select the data itself. So you click on this, then select the data that has the employee name and basic salary. Then while holding the control key, we click on increased salary, then drag downwards up to the last salary for the last employee. Then we click on the insert tab, go to charts. Here we can choose a 2D bar graph. They are here, so we just click on any of them, but for this case we'll use the first option. So you're able to see our chart here. You're able to see our chart. It is here, which is covering our sheet that has the data. Next question, you're told place the chart below the data. So for us to place the chart below our data, simply we just have to drag it downwards and place it below our data. As you can see, the chart is now below the data that we are using for computations. Next question, move the bar chart to a new sheet, that is sheet 2. So I'll just move it. For me to move the chart, I'll cut. So click on the chart, then right click and cut. Then you add a new sheet here. So you just click on this and then you right click and paste. The chart is going to be in this sheet. Next, rename sheet 2 to graphical representation. So I'll just go to sheet 2 here. It's actually this one, this is the second sheet. So I right click, then rename, and then I call it graphical representation. Then press the enter key to complete. Then finally you can print whatever you've created. Follow future videos to get to understand how to print the Excel files. Thanks.